Hey there, deck builders! Welcome back to another episode of 5 Cards in 5 Minutes. As always, I'm your friendly neighborhood host, Alex. Thanks for hanging out with me. Today we'll be covering my picks for the top 5 Izzet cards in Commander. Don't forget to let me know what your favorite Izzet cards are in the comments below. Once again, thanks for joining me. Now let's get started. Coming in at number 5 is an instant speed spell that I see being overlooked by a lot of Commander players. I'd like to introduce you to Steam Augury. This instant speed underdog is the close relative of another popular blue spell, Fact or Fiction. With Fact or Fiction, an opponent of your choice takes the top 5 cards of your library and divides them into 2 piles. Then you choose one of those piles, put it into your hand, and the other pile goes into your graveyard. Simple enough. Steam Augury, on the other hand, works in a reverse order. You choose how your piles are organized, and an opponent of your choice picks which pile you put into your hand, and which one goes into your graveyard. I do feel that Fact or Fiction is the better spell, but that doesn't mean Steam Augury is bad. I'm a big fan of Steam Augury letting you choose how your piles are organized. Forcing an opponent to have to pick which cards you put in your hand, and which ones go to your graveyard, will make for some really awesome political moments. The number 4 spot belongs to a clone creature that a lot more Izzet players out there should be running, Dax Duplicate. Play Commander long enough and you'll start to realize the value of clone effects. There are a lot of creatures out there that can enter the battlefield as a copy of another creature on the battlefield. Many of those creatures, though, unfortunately, are a lot like clone. Yes, you might get a copy of another creature, but other than that, they don't do a whole lot. Dax Duplicate separates himself by entering with haste and having dethrone. So not only can you steal your opponent's Eldrazi Titan or Giant Dragon creature, you can also start thumping them with it immediately. Dax Duplicate might not be as versatile as Clever Impersonator or as cheap to cast as Phyrexian Metamorph, but he's great in his own way, and he definitely deserves the number 4 spot. Number 3 belongs to one of my personal favorite counterspells, Flux. You know what really grinds my gears? Casting a counterspell and then having that counterspell get countered by another counterspell. Sometimes a spell just needs to be countered without a fight, and for those times, we have Flux. I understand that Flux might not have the low cost of its cousins Counterspell or Pyroblast, but this handy uncounterable counter is something I would always be willing to splurge for 3 mana for. And as icing on the cake, it also has a great overload ability. Having the ability to take a look at all the spells currently on the stack and say no to all of them, that is money in the bank. The number 2 spot belongs to the greatest thief in the multiverse, Faden. Planeswalkers tend to be a bit controversial in Commander. Some people love them, some people hate them. Planeswalkers aren't right for every strategy out there, but there are certain ones like Faden who can fit into a lot of different strategies. The first major positive going for Faden is his mana cost. Only 3 is pretty low for a Planeswalker. On top of that, he has 3 abilities that are all pretty solid. His +1 is essentially Faithless Looting. Being able to discard cards into your graveyard of your own choice, then draw 2 new cards to freshen up your hand, is always a good thing. And his -2 ability just emphasizes his whole greatest thief in the multiverse thing by being able to steal another opponent's artifact. And if you manage to reach his ultimate ability, you'll be richly rewarded. Don't bounce your opponent's permanents back to their hands, bounce them right onto your battlefield. The number 1 spot on this list belongs to the Izzet card that I find myself using in the majority of decks I play, and that always comes in handy, Izzet Charm. Izzet Charm isn't expensive or flashy, but it always gets the job done, and you never regret having it in your hand. Essentially, Izzet Charm is 3 solid cards packaged all together into one great card. I'm a huge fan of versatile cards. There's nothing worse than being stuck with a handful of cards that you really can't do a whole lot with. Izzet Charm can take on the role of disruption, removal, or card draw. It's rare to find a spell that gives you so many different options and costs less than 50 cents. Izzet Charm is the underappreciated everyman spell. You might not notice this little charm, but it's working hard behind the scenes providing solid options for you and enhancing your Commander game. I just wanted to give you guys a quick shout out and say thank you so much for your support. Seriously, I appreciate each and every one of you. Thank you so much. Thanks for tuning in. If you like this video and you want more just like it, be sure to leave me a like. If you're new around here, subscribe, and welcome to the Deck Builders Society. And if you want to be among the first people to know when I drop a new video, hit that notification bell. It helps out a lot. You know the drill. Stay classy, Deck Builders. I'll see you next time.